Hello, Durud and Shalom. How's everyone doing? Guys, I see the chat is already busy. Make sure you like the stream. We have something very important to discuss today. There's a big lie that is now spreading all over social media. I mean, this was always a lie, but it's now spreading even more. This is the main attack on Israel right now. It's spreading everywhere, and more people are talking about the accusation that Israel is using hunger as a weapon of war. And the reality is so far away from this claim. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Once I go through all the facts with you, you have to, like, you cannot help but feel angry. Why such an obvious lie? It's not just a lie. It's so opposite from reality. It could not be any farther from what's actually happening. We have the IDF, which is the most moral, the most humane army in the world, doing everything more than any army in the history of modern warfare. Israel has committed into getting food in the hands of civilians in Gaza, into feeding the Gazan children, more than any other army. And instead of getting the recognition for it, they're acting like Israel is starving the people in Gaza. Guys, I I already did this live on the Persian channel, and by the end of the live stream, I came to the conclusion that I think that nobody actually cares about the people of Gaza more than the IDF. I mean, think about it. Many people who are pro-Israeli, they're pro-Israeli, but they don't go as aggressively to go and support them. They're like, yeah, Israel is great to actually care about the people of Gaza, but they don't actually do. Nobody is like Israeli soldiers are sacrificing their lives for the sake of getting food into the hands of the people in Gaza, and the world is condemning them with the accusation of starving the people of Gaza. I will actually tell you guys what's happening, but we already got a super chat. Guys, I will read the super chats. Oh no, it's Bar. Bar is saying it's a campaign. It's been running for almost 2 years. True, but it's now it's like a tsunami. Right now they're hitting. Why is it picking up right now? I mean, it comes in waves. Like, I know it used to pick up as before, but right now it's everywhere. Right now it's everywhere. There's so much anti-Israeli propaganda focused specifically on this claim that Israel is starving the people in Gaza. So we need to actually respond to that. Let me see. Heavy Gretel saying they've been accusing Israel of starving the people of Gaza, like basically since 2005, all while conveniently ignoring their obesity rates. Yep. I mean, it comes in. It's true. This is old news, but right now, this is their main stone, like the main weapon right now. It's picking up, and again, it comes in waves. True. And also, by the way, all of this is happening all of this is happening while we have an active famine right now in Yemen. And guys, who's talking about Yemen right now? Do you guys know that the famine in Yemen did not actually go away? Do you guys know Yemen is still dealing with that? Did you guys know that? It's still there. It's still there. I mean, so in Gaza, we don't have famine. We have extreme hunger, and I will tell you why, but we don't have famine. In Yemen, we have actual famine, right? And I mean, you could, if you go look at the situation in Yemen, you could see the difference between hunger and actual famine. If you look at the children over there, right? I mean, maybe I should show you what famine looks like. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys want to see this. Do you guys want to see something that is not pleasant to look at? Should I show you guys this? Maybe I shouldn't show you guys this. Do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see some pictures from Yemen? Sure. People are saying sure. Okay. So where is this? Let me, yeah, maybe I'll just put this on the screen over here. I want to make sure that everything I show you guys is YouTube friendly. I need to scroll down to make sure that it's not going to get me flagged for anything, right? So if you just search for famine Yemen, oh my God. Okay, so yeah, this is, I think this is YouTube. Okay, with YouTube. Okay, this is what you get, right? This is what famine looks like. Like, this is what famine looks like. Let me actually make it. This. You don't see this. You don't see stuff like, you don't see this in Gaza. Okay, I'm not saying people are not hungry, but this is the face of famine. This. Okay, but again, I don't want to basically talk. Again, I'm not suggesting that the people in Gaza are okay. Obviously, extreme hunger is also something that we need to talk about. But I'm just, the reason why I'm showing you Yemen is not to suggest that the situation in Gaza is unimportant. Is to show you the double standard. Because where are the protests? Where is the global outrage over what's happening in Yemen? Like, where is that? What the hell is happening? What? Why? I mean, there, guys. I checked this 2 days ago, and I checked, and I can confirm. I'm almost certain that Yemen, if if it has changed, let me know. I'm not sure. Yemen is still Arab, and is still Muslim, unless something that has changed in the past 2 days. If they're still, I think I could be almost, I think it's reasonable to assume it's still like that, right? And where the fuck is the Muslim world? Like, these are, I mean, if you don't care about their humanity, they're your fellow Muslims. Where is the Arab world's outrage regarding Yemen? These are Arab, these are Muslim, and more importantly, these are humans. And there's nothing. I mean, there's obviously some, nothing is an exaggeration, but where, like, in comparison to the outrage over Gaza, I mean, we all know where, yeah, where's the ummah? No, I'm saying exactly. Where's the ummah? Like, you guys are supposed to, this is not about this is proof. This is beyond reasonable doubt proof that it's not about the people of Gaza. This has nothing to do with caring about the people of Gaza because they're suffering or because they're Muslim or because they're fellow Arabs. Because every one of these things, their humanity, their being Muslim or their being Arab, all of that is also true with the people of Yemen. This is why the Palestinian cause is not about something so-called Palestine. It's an anti-Israeli cause. The reason why, obviously, I mean, you all know this, but let me spell it out for people who might be new here. Obviously, the reason why the Yemen situation is not getting that much of an outrage from Muslims or Arabs or the leftists or the axis of resistance or whatever other bullshit you want to talk, that is relevant here, is because there's no Jews involved. There is no Jews involved. This is obvious anti-Semitism. This is people like, you just keep saying anti-Semitism. Everybody who talks about criticizing Israel, you say anti-Semitism. Yeah, it's anti-Semitism because why? What is the factor? What is the main factor that makes people get so outraged regarding Gaza, but not regarding Yemen? It's the Jew factor. It is the Jew factor because everything else is the same. By the way, did you guys know that a lot of the donations for Gaza comes from Israel? Do you know a lot of the charities that are collecting money to feed Gaza a huge portion of it comes from donations from inside Israel. Did you guys know that? Like this is something you don't hear around the world. Yeah, the Jew factor. We should actually make that a thing. The Jew factor. Anyways, let me actually go through the points that I was going to mention to you guys. Guys, I've collected all the points. And if you watch the stream, you are going to become very well informed regarding how to push back against the accusation that Israel is using hunger as a weapon of war. Okay. And I will give you the facts, and these are easily verifiable. These are so easily verifiable. I verified them, and you could do it as well, right? And again, it's important that you share this live stream, like it, and also if you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell notification. But because I'm going to give you, you're going to be armed with all the points. Okay. So here, I've collected them, and you could use them. Let me unstart this one. Oh, by the way, guys, during the stream, if I see any super chats are a really good way to support the channel, and I will also read every single super chat if you want to use that as a way to support the channel. Okay, so first of all, guys, if you're new here, prepare to be shocked. If you're like, what are you gonna say, Armin? What are you gonna say? Don't you see the crying hungry children, the videos and the images of the crying hungry children in Gaza? How heartless could you be? How evil could you be that you see all of that and you still support Israel? Well, let me tell you, because if you're honest, you should be shocked here, right? Israel, as I mentioned before, but I'm going to give if this is repeated, I will give you some new points as well, but I've already used these points before. Some of them are going to be repetitive for you guys, but I will give you some details for regarding each one of them, right? Israel is responsible for breaking the record. Let me repeat, breaking the record in moving calories into a war zone in the history of modern warfare. The country that is being accused of using starvation as a weapon of war has moved more calories into Gaza than any army has ever moved food into a war zone ever recorded. They broke the record in food aid into a war zone with wherein their enemy is fighting against them. Do you understand how insane it is that you, instead of getting a medal for being the most humanist, moral, ethical army in the world, for being responsible for feeding the people where your enemy is, coming from, feeding those people more than any army, instead of being congratulated by the whole world, you get accused of being this evil, genocidal army that is trying to kill an entire group of people with starvation. Yeah, every girl was saying true. Yeah, no one was saying, and they see us as Nazis. Absurd. Exactly. Let me give you a peer-reviewed study that counted every truck entering Gaza from January to July 2024 found an average of 3,004 calories per person per day, well above the 2,100 calorie sphere emergency standard, and higher than any published wartime data set there is. So truck manifests show Israel has left in food equating to roughly 3,000 calories per capita per day, well over basically the emergency benchmark. Right? By the way, they had to at some point stop the food from getting in, for multiple reasons, which we will go through. Some of them include Hamas actually attacking the gateways in which the foods were coming in. And during that time, Israel was being condemned, like, oh my God, you closed the pathways for the food getting in. This is evil. This is evil. During that time where Israel, like, they were bringing in so much food and they had to shut it down for a while. The reason why they had to shut it down is because it was Hamas was using the food as a way to rearm, steal the food, sell it to the people, triple the price, as reported by people in Gaza themselves, and rearm itself that well, use that money to shoot at Israeli soldiers. So when they shut down the food from getting in, there was already a lot of food in Gaza not being distributed. Israel had managed to get the food in Gaza, but it wasn't being distributed. But they shut down the food from getting in while Israel was trying to find another way to use another organization, an American Israeli organization, instead of working with the UN, because I will tell you why soon, instead of working with the UN. Because let me tell you why now, okay? Many of the people working in UNRWA, which is with the UN branch, are Hamas, and they're working with Hamas. And also, a lot of the truck drivers for the UN organizations that are responsible for distributing the food to the people in Gaza were not refusing to do so because they had experience of Hamas attacking the trucks. So there were safety issues, and basically the food was getting into Gaza. Israel, based on international law, Israel is responsible for getting the food into Gaza. After the food gets into Gaza, it's not responsible for distributing the food. So the reason why so many people in Gaza are going hungry, and again, some places are worse than others. Some places are actually okay. Some places people are going hungry. Other places people are doing actually more than okay. Like, it depends on where you are. But the reason why in some places people were experiencing extreme hunger is not because the food was not getting into Gaza. It was because after the food got into Gaza, it wasn't being distributed by the UN truck drivers to the people who needed it. It was just sitting there. And I actually have images of the food sitting there. I mean, like, for example, this. So this is the food sitting in Gaza. This was from July 15th. Saying this photo was taken today. Right now, there are thousands of pallets of humanitarian aid already inside of Gaza, waiting to be picked up and distributed from the crossing by UN agencies and international organizations. Instead of publishing statements about Gaza needing more aid or trucks waiting to enter, aid can be collected and distributed to the civilian population. So this has been going on for a while. The food gets in and it doesn't get distributed because there's a safety issue, because Hamas attacks the trucks and steals the food and sells it to the people in Gaza. So the UN had some conditions regarding when it comes to distributing the food. Their condition was that they get protection. And I kid you not, this is like an onion piece, okay? The IDF came and basically offered protection so that the food could be distributed. Meaning that even though under international law, the responsibility is not under the IDF anymore, because IDF only has to get the food into Gaza. After it gets into Gaza, it's not their job anymore. But the IDF was volunteering to provide extra work so that the food gets to the hands of the people in Gaza. Again, the reason why they're going hungry is the distribution after they get into Gaza, not because the food was not getting in. But here's the thing, the UN refused, and they requested local protection, our local armed forces protection. Guys, who is locally armed in Gaza? What does that mean? Local, what does that mean? Who the fuck are they talking about? Do you understand the insanity of what I'm talking about? Let me actually make sure I get this right. So the UN wants Israel to keep its soldiers way clear of the convoys. So they're like, no, move away. And they want trusted, their words, local police. Local police, which they call the blue police, which is historically part of Hamas. So the UN is like, nope, IDF, go away, go away. We want Hamas protection. So, and I mean, like, so the problem that the IDF is having when it comes to the food distribution is that Hamas is taking control of the food and using it as a way to rearm and shoot at Israeli soldiers. And UN's condition for distributing the food in Gaza is to get Hamas involved in distributing the food. I mean, guys, this is a joke. This must be a joke. So here's the thing: the IDF is such a moral army that instead of saying, like, you know what, no, we're not going to give you any food, they went and talked to the Americans, and they started working with this new Israeli American organization. Hold up. What was it called? The GHF. Let me bring my notes here. Yes. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. In May 2025, by the way, this is what they were doing. They were shutting down the food from getting in, even though there was already plenty of food in Gaza. They shut down so they could find another way to get food to the hands of the people in Gaza instead of going through the UN and Hamas. And by the way, this GHS organization, the two main entities that were against it was UN and Hamas. The UN is saying that it's unfair. I mean, think about it. Why would Hamas be against this? Because Hamas knows that the UN way is the way that gives Hamas leverage and profit from the aid. But Israel shut down the food from getting in, not to shut it down permanently, but to find another way to get the food in, and that was their solution. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the GHF, in May 2025, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a U.S.-Israeli-backed private organization, began operating aid distribution centers in Gaza. The UN and Hamas were basically against it. They're saying it was biased. They're saying it was biased and undermined neutrality, which is insane. Because, I mean, even if, like, they're saying Israel is using that as a propaganda tool. I mean, this is projection, because Hamas uses the aid that it steals as a way to propaganda, to act like it's the main giver of aid to the people of Gaza. But now they're accusing Israel is doing that, and they say that while the food that is getting into Gaza through the UN is not getting distributed, and the food that Israel and the United States are getting into Gaza through this foundation is actually getting distributed. So you could call it bias all you want, but people in Gaza were getting the food through this organization. I hope you guys are angry. You understand how insane, like, when you understand what I'm talking about, you should, like, compare that, everything you're hearing from me, to what you hear on mainstream and social media. The UN is responsible for the hunger. The UN and Hamas are responsible for the hunger of Gazans right now. Yeah, somebody's saying, can UN be accused of crimes against humanity? Yeah, I mean, I mean, yeah. This is key for you guys to remember. The issue is not the lack of food into get in. The issue is not the lack of food getting into Gaza. The issue is that the food that is getting into Gaza is not being distributed. And Hamas is the main obstacle in the way of the food getting distributed. And Israel is trying every method to try to get that food distributed. And again, this shows that Israel is actually higher when it comes to its moral standards than some of its supporters. I mean, some of Israel's supporters are like, hey, fuck the people of Gaza. Let them die. Let them starve. And meanwhile, the IDF is risking the lives of its own soldiers to provide, to secure the food for getting in. Do you see how insane it is that Israel is putting the lives of its soldiers at risk for the sake of getting food distributed in Gaza, even though that is not within its responsibilities under international law? Wow. Guys, the haters are here. Somebody's saying, Zayo atheist shit. This person is saying, this other person is saying, did you sell your mom to Israelis too? This is how anti-Israelis talk, by the way, guys. This person is talking to me in Persian and says, God curse you, you animal. These are the comments I'm getting in the chat. Somebody's saying, what is insane is you don't even know how to lie. Neil Bunny saying that's how assholes talk, Armin. Same thing. Anti-Israeli asshole, same thing. But good point. No, I'm telling them welcome IRGC bots. How is Mossad doing? I mean, I don't know. There might be Mossad spies pretending to be IRGC, so maybe we shouldn't hate them that much. But wait, it gets worse. Let me make sure I have this correctly. It gets worse. Okay, since the GHF began its operations, and remember that's the NGO that United States and Israel put in there, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. So there have been many incidents where Palestinians have been killed, and a lot of people are suggesting online that it's a trap. It's a trap. They put the food there so that the people in Gaza come to get the food and then they shoot them. You guys know what the real story is? Like, I want to know if you guys know what the real story is in the chat. First of all, even before we do a fact check on this, the crazy thing is, why would Israel do that? Like, is Israel not able to actually kill enough Palestinians that they need to set a trap for Palestinians to show up to shoot them? Like, do these people who are spreading these lies against Israel don't know that how easy it is to completely destroy this argument? Because if Israel wanted to kill the highest number of Palestinians, it could just easily kill hundreds of thousands of Palestinians within a matter of hours. Israel could kill millions of Palestinians, of people in Gaza. Like, it would be so easy to just wipe them out. Why would they do this? I mean, this is not even the most effective way to do it, and it's also the most for propaganda and media purposes. is actually the most ugliest one. There are other ways that you could come up with that actually wipes out more Palestinians without actually making you look this evil. Like, why would Israel do that? Like, what the hell is that? What is the purpose? But also, what are the facts regarding this? Let me see. We got a super chat. Thank you, Yasina. Give us a super chat. It's saying that's what people are saying on Piers Morgan on the Piers Morgan show all the time, accusing the IDF of shooting people waiting waiting in line for food. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, exactly. You're right. And thank you for the support. And what's the response? Do you guys know what the response is? Let me actually get this ready. So here's what's happening. Hamas really thinks that they're using leverage when the United States and the IDF are using this other way to get food in the hands of people in Gaza. Apparently, this is a really important issue for Hamas, and that's why Hamas, in the negotiations that they're doing for releasing the hostages, this is a topic that keeps coming up, that they are against this other organization distributing food, and they just want to go through the traditional channels with the UN. Which, the fact that Hamas really insists that the food comes in through the UN shows how intertwined Hamas and UN are with each other in Gaza. But given that this is such an important issue for Hamas, what they have done is, when the Americans and the Israelis are distributing food in Gaza through this new avenue, through this new channel, what they do is that Hamas sends its terrorists into the crowd, shooting in the direction of the IDF soldiers, so that the IDF soldiers shoot back and kill people in the crowd in self-defense. I mean, there's a lot of reports on this. Like, there's a lot of videos that I'm not going to play showing this, but you could go study this. There's a lot of analysis that show this. This has been going on for a while. But think about how evil that is. Think about, like seriously, guys. The people of Gaza are cursed. The friends of the Gazans are their worst enemies. Like, everybody is investing in the blood and the tear of the people in Gaza, and it just seems like the only one who's actually doing the most to try to take care of them is the IDF. But think about, like, the people in Hamas, they grew up there. These are their neighbors. And they go in, like, they see these desperate people in Gaza lining up for food, being hungry, and they go in the middle of them, pretending to be one of them. And when they're lining up for food, they start attacking the IDF soldiers so that the people around them die. Like, they see that around them there's children, there are old men and women lining up to trying to feed their family, and they're standing next to them attacking the IDF so that they get killed, so that they could condemn Israel. Let me actually, this is important. Okay, here's another important point that you should always use in your arguments. Egypt is key, because here's another example of selective outrage. We have these crossings. So a lot of times people constantly need to be reminded that Gaza doesn't just share a border with Israel. Gaza also shares a border with Egypt. And all the food that is getting into Gaza is going through the crossings on the border between Gaza and Israel. And zero food is getting to Gaza through the border of Egypt and Gaza. So think about this. There are two countries, Egypt and Israel. Egypt is sending, through its border, is sending no food into Gaza. Israel is sending all the food to Gaza. Which one of them is getting accused of using starvation as a weapon against the people of Gaza? Where is the accusation against Egypt? Yeah, Jack is saying, I know Israel controls Rafah, but Egypt is not allowing them to open the crossing because they have the say so. It's under, they have to permit it. And Egypt has had this excuse not to open that crossing because they say, like, we will not open it as long as Israel is doing the border. We're not going to open it. And they kind of, I think they're pretending like this is an anti-war protest, but it's mostly we are afraid of the people in Gaza, so we don't want to risk them coming into Gaza thing. But Egypt is doing nothing to get food into Gaza, and Israel is doing everything. And again, yes, the Islamic they're afraid of the Islamic Brotherhood. But again, like, where is the accusation? Where are the protests? Everybody like, oh, there's a blockade. The food is not getting in. Israel is not doing enough. Where are the protests against Egypt? Where are the articles? Where are the outrage? Where are the debates? Why are we not having panels on Piers Morgan, people talking about why is Egypt not allowing food to get into Gaza? Why is it? Where is the selective outrage coming from? Yeah, somebody saying Egypt has seven levels of fences towards Gaza. Yeah, so Jack is saying Mehdi Hassan did condemn Egypt over this on the latest Jubilee episode, which is good, which is actually a point against Mehdi Hassan. I'm glad that he did that. You know why that's a good thing? Because they admit that Egypt is doing something wrong, right? But then explain like, oh, I condemn it. Okay. Go look at the level of condemnation that you have for Israel and compare that with Egypt. Go, it's like, oh, you condemn that. Okay. Where is the outrage? Like, compare the outrage. Is it just like, oh, we condemn that, but let's now talk about Israel? Where are the protests? Where are the back-to-back coverage about the crimes of Egypt against the people of Gaza? Talking about a blockade on the people of Gaza. Oh, I condemn it. But the fact that they condemn it shows, okay, then we are right that they are doing something wrong. I mean, they're allowing in zero food. Israel is allowing record numbers of food, and they're allowing zero food. So if anything, you need to be more outraged. So Reza in the chat in Persian, he's asking, how much did they pay me for me to say these things? Because he thinks like I'm paid by Israelis. So far, we got super chats. Let me see. So far, we only had Yasina, $5 so far. So Yasina gave us a super chat, $5. Every time people want to accuse me of being funded by Zionists, I try to use it as a reminder that people could support us with super chats if they wanted to. Really good way to support the channel. Oh my God, Mohsen. I wish I could translate this into English. This is a chant against the hardliners, anti-Israeli people. So here's another interesting thing. While Israel was getting in as much food into Gaza, Hamas attacked the crossings, killing IDF soldiers. I mean, think about it. Think about what that means. Why would they do that? Let me actually. What date was that? Oh yeah, here. Hamas attacks and blocks aid and entry points. The Kerem Shalom crossing is the main Israeli-controlled aid entry into Gaza. In May 2024, Hamas launched multiple rocket attacks on this crossing. On May 5, strikes killed 4 IDF soldiers, prompting immediate closure. On May 9th, 8 rockets injured soldiers. On May 12th, another attack triggered shutdown. These repeated attacks forced closures lasting days, halting hundreds of aid trucks from entering. On November 16, 2024, armed gangs attacked a convoy of 109 UN aid trucks waiting near Kerem Shalom, looting 98 of them. Basically, Hamas and armed groups have demonstrated a pattern of targeting or disrupting crossings so aid cannot flow, leaving food piled up on the Israeli side. Why? Why would Hamas do that? Like, what is the point? Whenever Israel is trying to get food into the hands of the people in Gaza, why is Hamas attacking them, trying to stop the food from getting in? If they cannot get control of it. So basically, Hamas sees it 2 ways. When the food gets in, either it gets to me and I distribute it for 2 reasons: for a profit, and also so that people in Gaza know that I'm in charge and I am the entity that decides who gets fed. Or if I do not get control over it, I have to shut it down. So if I don't get the food, then I shut down the food from getting in so that the people in Gaza go hungry, so that I could sell the hunger of people in Gaza as a way to condemn Israel, to make the international community turn against Israel. That's the point. So if you are accusing Israel of committing a war crime using hunger against the people in Gaza, you're basically a Hamas soldier. You're doing the propaganda war of Hamas for them. You're playing into their game. You're either a useful idiot or you actually know what you're doing, which makes you evil. So look at this. Dennis is saying, "Oh, I'm absolutely convinced you're being paid, as nobody could be that stupid." Notice how I have facts and they have nothing. They could just call you names because they have nothing. I'm actually giving you verifiable facts and data points. Everything I'm telling you are things that have happened. They're so easy. They're so accessible to verify. And I come here with my hands are full with evidence and arguments to show you, and they have nothing. People who have no points and no arguments, all they could do is like, "Oh, you're just so stupid," because they have nothing and they have nothing else. Yeah, Heavy Grit will say, "You disagree with me? You are a paid agent." Yeah. Oh, we got paid, by the way, from Israel. Yeah, guys, keep accusing me of getting paid by Israel so that it encourages super chats from Israel. Thank you, Barbar, saying they want human tragedy so they'll have something. Yes, exactly. They invest in the blood and the tears of the people in Gaza. I mean, Ismail Hania admitted that. Like, they're like, nobody could be this stupid. Said by the dumbest people. Because it has been verified. It has been verified over the Hamas leaders have repeatedly, we have shown them on this channel. They have repeatedly said that the suffering and the blood and the death of the people in Gaza is holy and it makes our resistance stronger. And that we are not losing anything when people in Gaza die or suffer, because suffering brings you closer to God. And if people in Gaza die, they're giving birth to more people in the same time than the people that are dying in Gaza. So like there's nothing lost. That the resistance is getting stronger because people die and suffer. And the population is not getting any smaller because we're having more babies anyways. They admit this. They admit this. But no, you must be a paid agent because you're referring to facts, verifiable facts. Bart, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. We got another super chat. Yeah, Yasina is saying their sources. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. But you're right that I'm getting paid. Yasina Bar just paid me. So you're right about that. Thank you, guys. They're burning inside, by the way, because they have nothing in in their argument, and we come and basically this is a very effective channel at demolishing anti-Israeli propaganda. And when they come here, they know that they have nothing, so they just keep telling you that you're paid. Oh, you're stupid. I mean, show me some good arguments against us in the live chat. I'll highlight it. Let me actually show you something interesting. If you want to go read more about this nonprofit that I told you, because a lot of people are like, oh, you have no facts. You could go go read a lot about this organization and why Israel and United States had to. This is on Washington Post. The for-profit companies behind Israel-U.S. nonprofit Gaza Plan, which is now basic. This is Israel and U.S. are trying to find ways to distribute food in Gaza, and you can see that challenges when it comes to distributing food through the UN way with the UN institutions, and how they're trying to find these other organizations to go around it. So, like, guys, it's so easy to find this information. You're like, oh, you're so stupid. Nobody could be this stupid. Meanwhile, here's another article, The Guardian. Not very Israeli friendly. See, key aid crossing into Gaza closed after rocket attack kills Israeli soldiers. See? Again, it's so easy to verify all of this. So easy. By the way, do you guys want to see the food that they're getting in? Hold on. Let me look the amount of food. The amount of food that they're trying to get in. Look at this one, okay? So this one is saying what you need to know about humanitarian aid for Gaza. Since May 19th, and in accordance with the directive of the political echelon aid enters Gaza through two primary channels. One, distribution sites operated by GHF, GHF, that organization that we talked about. Let me actually follow them. Where weekly food packages are provided to families. The entry of complementary aid coordinated with the UN, international organization, and countries, which includes raw materials for local bakeries and communal kitchens. Recently, by the way, this was from July 22nd, okay? Recently, close to 4,500 trucks entered Gaza, including flour for bakeries and 2,500 tons of baby food and high-calorie special food for children. Over the past month, there has been a significant decline in the collection. That's the key term here. Not the food from getting in. The decline has been in the collection. The collection of humanitarian aid from the Crossing by International Aid Organization. As of now, the contents of approximately 950 humanitarian aid trucks are waiting collections on the Gazan side of the Kerem Shalom and Zikim crossings. These trucks are just waiting there. I will show you the video. the collection bottleneck remains the main obstacle. So it's not, the obstacle is not the amount of food. Like, imagine, guys, imagine all of the, like, I'm giving you the facts. Imagine all of the outrage out there talking about, oh my God, they're not allowing the food to get in. But people are not realizing that the food getting in Gaza is not the bottleneck. The collection bottleneck remains the main obstacle to maintaining a consistent flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza Strip, despite Israel's proactive efforts to expand the volume of aid trucks entering the Gaza. And guys, look at the volume of this. Let me actually play this for you guys. Oh, somebody's saying 150 got collected since. Okay, that's good. Thank you for the update. I hope that's true. But look at that. Look at all of that. These were all just sitting there. Look at this. Somebody's saying, shame on you and your shit reasonings. I mean, if my reasoning was actually shit, you would be able to demonstrate it with some arguments. I mean, this is shit criticism because you actually didn't provide any arguments. This is a shit criticism. My reasoning must be good, because if it was actually this shit, you would actually have a point against it. Let me actually show you something more. Oh, let me actually see if I pointed something. I want to make sure. Oh, one important point that I forgot to mention to you guys, and you need to know this so that you're well equipped with responding to people, is that given that a lot of the food shipment is filled with weapons. So again, this is really, really complicated, because the weapons that Hamas uses, you could actually cut it into so many small little pieces, and you could put it in the place in a sack in the middle of the food, in small little places under the truck, inside the truck, in different places in the truck, small little things. And then once you get it into Gaza, you could collect them all and put them together and make the weapon. You just have to cut it into so many small pieces, put every single one of them in a corner somewhere, and then once it gets in, you make the weapon. And then, so Israel is responsible for the lives of its soldiers, and that's why when the food gets in, the IDF needs to make sure that it observes it and monitors it and search every single hole everywhere in these trucks and inside the food. Because if it doesn't, the Israeli soldiers that die with the weapons that are getting in, with the excuse of food getting in, the responsibility of those soldiers' lives are on the Israeli government that didn't actually monitor the food properly when it was getting in. So to do that, Israel needs to make sure that the crossings for the food that are getting in is completely being monitored in a very detailed way. It's so difficult, right? So knowing that, sometimes people try to bring food from other ways, non-confirmed, not observed, not monitored ways, knowing that Israel will not allow that, because if Israel is going to allow food to get in, it needs to go through this approved crossings that it has complete detailed monitoring over, right? So sometimes people bring ships of food, try to get into Gaza, knowing that it will be stopped, knowing that the food will not get in. You know why? By the way, I know we got a super chat. I will respond to that. But why would they do that? Why would people try to push food into Gaza, knowing that Israel is going to be forced to stop it? Stop, like the ships are trying to bring food into Gaza. You know why? Because it's a good headline news. So Israel is allowing food in through its approved channels, and then they try to bring food in a non-approved way, because Israel is going to be forced to stop it. So you get the headline that people in Gaza are starving, and Israel just stopped another shipment of food into Gaza. I mean, people don't spend time into looking into things. They see the pictures of hungry people in Gaza. They see the headline news that some people were trying to bring food to Gaza, and Israel, the IDF stopped it, and they come to the conclusion, or these are the good guys, those are the bad guys. It's just as simple as that. Somebody saying 71,000 kids dead for what reason? 71,000 kids? You mean people? You know, not all of the people in Gaza were kids, right? I think your numbers are right. Wrong. But if you're asking about the people in Gaza, the reason why they're dead is because of Hamas. Let me show you something else. Let me see. Let me show you some interesting videos. I need you guys to see all of this. This is. Let me see. Look at this. They're saying the world should see these photos too. With the recent uptick in collection from the so this is newer. This is July 25. With the recent uptick in collection from the crossings, who's this organization? World Central Kitchen has reopened a kitchen in Deir al-Bala that is currently providing approximately 60,000 meals a day to local residents. More aid collection by UN agencies and international organizations will equal to more aid for Gaza. So these people are trying to encourage the UN to actually do more of the collection, because again, the bottleneck is the collection. And again, this is an Israeli organization celebrating the food getting into the hands of the people in Gaza. Again, here's another point we saw. Contrary to popular narratives, there is no limit on the number of humanitarian aid trucks that can enter Gaza. The real bottleneck lies with the UN and international organizations whose collection of aid from the crossing dropped sharply over the past month. Only after significant pressure did the UN and international organizations resume collection. By the way, significant pressure by Israel. Within just 2 days, over 270 trucks were collected from the Gazan sides of Kerem Shalom and Zikim crossing by the UN and international organizations. Guys, it's important that people know this. Is this in Hebrew? Hold on, let's actually watch this together. Let me know if you have audio. Let's play this.
I'm Colonel Abdallah.
Hold on, let me actually play this.
I'm Colonel Abdallah Khalabi, the head of the CLA Gaza. We are currently on the Palestinian side of Kerem Shalom crossing. At this very moment, as you can see behind me, there are over 800 trucks of humanitarian aid that have entered Gaza and waiting for collection and distribution by the United Nations and the aid organizations to the residents of Gaza. We have operated to increase the numbers of trucks, extended the operating hours of crossings, coordinated the new roads for aid collection, and opened additional crossing. And yet, the aid is still waiting to be collected by international aid organizations. I want to empathize, Israel does not limit the number of trucks entering the Gaza Strip, and it is the collection issue that is preventing continuous delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Despite the clear facts you can see behind me, Hamas is running a deliberate and false propaganda campaign that presents a distorted picture of the humanitarian situation, not out of concern for Gazian residents, but as a pressure tactic in the framework of the negotiations. We operate every day to bring in aid. Hamas operates every day to create a perception of crisis. The international community needs to know the truth. We are working in close coordination with the United Nations and aid organizations, arguing them to continue arriving to collect the aid and bring it into the Gaza Strip. The IDF, through COGAT and the CLA Gaza, will continue to do everything to ease the process, improve conditions on the ground, and help find solutions to enable and rapid, orderly, and safe collection for aid for the benefit of the civilian population in Gaza, not Hamas.
This is important that people see that when you guys come, some people say like, "Oh, fuck the people in Gaza," and you think that you're being pro-Israeli when you say that. That's not Israel's position. Like, I don't know what you're defending. Israel is actually doing more than anybody in the world. Like the people who shout "Free, Free Palestine," they're making the people in Gaza suffer. Hamas is making the people in Gaza suffer. The Islamic Republic is making the people in Gaza suffer. The Islamists are making the people in Gaza to suffer. They need their suffering. Everybody is using the suffering of the people in Gaza. And the only entity that is actually helping the people of Gaza is the IDF. So it's the IDF. Yeah, the UN also, the UN is actually betraying the people of Gaza by working with Hamas. So the only entity that is actually investing their time, resources, and lives to protect the Gazans is the IDF. So, like, if you want to support Israel, be in line with Israel's policies. You know, I'm saying everyone is siding with Hamas, and I'm disgusted. Oh, by the way, we got a super chat. I'm gonna Shana with another super chat saying Democratic Republic of Chat. Chat representatives here. Okay, representative here. Okay, Shana, guys, Shana is the representative of the live chat. And saying here to drop off your Mossad shekels. Yay, guys! We've been funded by Zionist shekels. Let me see. How many super chats we got today? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super chats. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the support. Guys, this live stream that I just did is, I hope you understand how important it is for you guys to share it. Because I basically covered all the best arguments to defend Israel against all the lies, all the anti-Israeli lies. So please share it. It's all condensed into one video. So do go around, go and spread it everywhere, okay? And like it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that when we go live, it tells you. And leave a comment after the show is over. Oh, Ginga is saying, thanks, Armin. You're welcome. I hope it was. Let me know in the comment section if you learned something, or if it was helpful, or if it provided you with enough, enough good points to go and win in arguments online against people who are basically anti-Israeli. Wow, this is a compliment. Somebody saying you have the Iranian Mossad media unit here. Oh my God, what a compliment! Thank you. Someone's saying, do you have a post office box? Yes, it's in the description. I think it's in the description. Let me check. I hope it's in the description. Hold on. In the description. Yes, it's in the description. And thank you for the super chat. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Oh, I'm gonna go get ready for my next stream on the channel called Armin Navabi. I'm gonna be talking. What is that? If you search for Armin Navabi on YouTube, it will show up, and it starts in about 1 hour. So if you search Armin Navabi, my personal channel will show up, and the title of the other channel is not about politics or religion. The other channel is about AI and technology as a whole, and how we could use AI and technology to better our lives when it comes to health, wealth, and love. And the show that I have coming up is starting in about 50 minutes. And the title for that one is A New Religion of AI, God, and the Future of Faith. So yeah, if you're interested in that, come and watch me there. I'm gonna do another 1 hour show there in about 50 minutes. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and I'll see you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow, same time. All right. Okay. So I'm Israel Kai, Javid Shah. Mwah. Thank you guys. See you on the other channel.